this is Tom, Junkie XL, and I want to give you a really quick tour to the studio with some of the equipment that we have. So right here at the entrance, we have the Synergy with the Key Pro computer that controls it. And then we come more into the room, and the first thing that we see here is a rack of samplers primarily. The Yamaha A3000, the S550, the Ensoniq Mirage, and here we have the 770, and they're mixed together here on this mixer to go to Cubase. And then when we go here, we have a few classic synthesizers. We have the Jupiter 6, we have the Jupiter 8, we have the Juno 60, and here we see multiple classic effects and mixing desks. We see the Ultra Harmonix DSP 4000, but also the H3000. We see the SPX 2000, DP4, the FX 900, a couple of lexicons, and completely in the left, we see the Rev 5 and the Korg A1s and the M5000s, classic reverbs from the 80s that I use a lot. When we move a little more inwards, we see here a Moog Voyager, we see the Waldorf, St. Blofeld, really awesome. We see the T8 by Prophet, we see the S50 Roland sampler, we see my workstation here, Cubase, touchscreen, the Native Instruments keyboard, the screens, the Air Audio, speakers, the bid audios. Then we get to the SP1200 emulator sampler, Oberheim OBXA, Oberheim expander, and then the Chroma Polaris 2. When we walk here, we see a little island that is Club of the Knobs, modular. We see a System 10 clone and a system that I had customly made for myself. On top, we see the Oberheim Promer that I can make EPROMs with for various different drum computers. And right next to it, we see the Stretch DX, which is the drum computer of Oberheim, to play those sounds that I make myself. Here we see the awesome and very rare Yamaha DX1. Here we see the Prophet 12. Here we see the Roland Juno 60 again. Here we see my Eurorack modular system with the ARP 2600 clone, the Mother 32 Moog. And then when we get to this corner, we get really vintage again. It's the PS 3100, the PS 3300 Korg, very rare machines, in perfect working condition. Here we see the Drumulator by MU, another DX drum computer. Here we see the RX7, we see the Roland drum computer, the R8. Here we see the Tempest. Here we see the TR626. Here we see the Alesis HR16 and the QX5 sequencer. Now, if we walk over here, we see to start a massive modular wall over here, which comes from 12 to 15 different fabrications. It's synthesizer.com, it's Moon, it's Corsynth. There's so many different brands that make amazing stuff here. In between, when we look at the bottom, we see, for instance, the Boom Stars here, which are very amazing analog monophonic synths. On the bottom, we see my first sequencer, which was the QX1. We see the TR909, the 808. We see an Oberheim sequencer right here. And then when we go over here, we see the Moog pedals that I use, the Mooga Fuga pedals, and we see more interesting modules in the wall. For instance, Cynthia. We also see here a great company, Analog Craftsman. We see Rob Hoordijk, the Dutch designer. We see Moslab, amazing companies that make all this stuff. And we move on a little bit this way, but then we get to a little wall like here with synths. where we see the Yamaha CS40M, we see the Emulator 2 Plus HD, and we see the PPG 2.2. And if we move over here, we see the piano that I built especially for 300 Rise of an Empire, with preamps in it and with microphones picking up the signal from the piano. And here we see a couple of my MS-20 synthesizers. So this is my main room that I work in, and the setup in this room changes constantly with what I need. So at this point it's synthesizer heavy, but in a year from now it might be guitar heavy. So this is a very quick tour in my room.